Greetings, everyone. Nate the Nerdarchy here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with some nerds.
Nerdarchy is Ted.
Nerdarchy is Dave.
And today we continue our series on alternative ways to using the healing hit dice with Paladins.
Jump down in the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
So we're jumping back into our Recovery Dice series, where we think of new and exciting ways to use your healing hit dice in order to empower the different classes in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
But we found that sometimes the mechanic doesn't come up so often, so let's use it more, right?
Right.
So we are now to Paladin.
Steadily moving through the player's handbook.
We're getting there. So we're looking at the abilities that are like the hallmark abilities of Paladin.
So you've got, first and foremost, because everybody's going to mention it, is Smite. But you've got Lay on Hands, you've got Channel Divinity, and while not everybody acknowledges this factor, they actually have spells.
Yes, they do have spells, and they have other abilities.
Smites in waiting.
Yeah, and then they have other abilities at the higher levels. So, but for this to be useful, we need a low level ability, and generally we want something that they can use right at first, second, third level. That eliminates a lot of stuff.
Right.
Lay on Hands. The problem with Lay on Hands is you're already doing healing, and the concept behind us re-envisioning uses for the hit die is to do things with it that don't heal.
Right.
So it kind of feels like it needs to feel like robbing Peter to pay Paul, but if we just go with use it to do some kind of healing effect, I feel like we're just paying Paul.
So I was initially looking at for the base class of Lay on Hands has got that duration, or not that duration, that range of right here. I'm like, could you extend that out? But I think that breaks the feel of what that feature is. You need to be there.
Right. It literally says Lay on Hands. You got to touch them.
So
that's tricky. We discussed maybe Smite. Smite might be a good way to go.
But Smite is already so good. Adding anything to Smite, people are going to say, oh, absolutely, yes. Do it.
Add negative dice to Smite.
So
you can choose to be weaker.
We joked around and said, okay, well, if you choose to Smite, you can spend this resource to do so with disadvantage.
And we renamed it Regret. But yeah, so for the most part, Smite is really good the way it is. And there's other ways to kind of break Smite too. So we're like, let's not add another way to the game to mess with Smite.
Paladins don't typically use their spells, and I wouldn't feel comfortable giving Paladins spell augmentations. It just doesn't feel right for me. So it
is a little off.
I wouldn't want to go a sorceress route here because they're just not that kind of caster.
So we need it low level, so most Paladins will be able to do it quickly. We need it not Smite, not spells augmentation, and just in general kind of win along with the individual archetypes.
So we're actually going to break the mold of what we've been doing for the last couple of classes. And we're actually not going to give anything to the base class options.
No soup for you.
So it's only going to link to your specific oath.
Right, yeah, so we're going to go with the archetypes on this one.
So
what are the archetypes?
We can break that down. We have Oath of Devotion, we have Oath of the Ancients, and we have Oath of Vengeance.
So we've got Judge Dredd, Hippie, and Sir Lancelot, essentially, in reverse order. And what are the normal oaths that they get?
Well,
the normal channel divinities.
If we look at channel divinity, the Oath of Devotion has the ability to do a sacred weapon. They spend an action and they expend their channel divinity, and it imbues their weapon with holy light. It sheds bright light for a 20 foot radius, dim light thereafter, and it gives them their charisma modifier as a bonus to hit.
It's pretty much like activating the holy sword before you jump in.
Turn on the lightsaber. Boom. Makes it easy.
I can't believe that. I had not seen this used in any of my games yet.
I swear I've seen this happen. Maybe it wasn't in a game with you. I don't know, but I think it's happened.
I have a theory behind that.
I remember the bright light thing happening.
In the beginning, Ted, you said as an action. So that's kind of like as your action, you could be attacking instead of activating a power. that'll let you attack easier
but
later.
it lasts for a minute.
Yeah, so there is the...
So if you've got an enemy that's got a high armor class, then by all means, this is a great way. And all right, well, I've used this feature because it's meaningless without. They all have, or Oath of Devotion and Oath of Ancients have a basic turning ability as well, and we're not going to get into that. Oath of Ancients has Nature's Wrath. If an enemy within 10 feet, you can sprout vines from the ground, reach up and ensnare it. They got to make a strength or dex save, creature's choice, or be restrained. And then the Oath of Vengeance has Vow of Enmity. Everybody's familiar with this one. I hate you. For the next minute, I got advantage on my attack rolls.
It's a pretty good one.
That's
the most. That is the most used Channel Divinity that I've seen.
So we thought, what if we actually pair up this hit dice with these specific Channel Divinity features?
Okay, what do you got for me?
Well, where do you want to start?
Let's start at the beginning.
At the beginning, it's a very, very good place to start. So, Oath of Devotion has the Sacred Weapon. Well, how can we enhance that Sacred Weapon?
By saying we enhanced it.
So, Paladins are already doing quite a bit of clip of damage. Well, what if, Charisma modifier is only going to go up to a 5, maybe a 6 if you get crazy. Thing only lasts a minute. What if you also, for this particular feature, added that Charisma modifier to damage as well?
I can see that working. I mean, a little insult to injury. Why not?
We could, we could say it's just straight damage. We could say it's radiant damage. What do you guys feel on that one?
Radiant. I'll go radiant.
Yeah, let's make it radiant.
I liked going that route as well, and especially if you wind up fighting something that actually is vulnerable to radiant, adds a little extra to one of the lesser chosen oaths.
I think I've seen this one chosen. This is literally the Paladin's Paladin. So I've seen this guy get some play.
That certainly sweetens the pot for using your action to before you go into combat.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like by expending this extra resource, you make that loss of action that much better.
Now the next one, Oath of Ancients. I've seen this one get a bit of play. It's very thematic, but I feel like they have the worst Channel Divinity.
Nature's Wrath has a severe limitation of, an enemy within 10 feet. And the fact that it gets to choose the better of its strength or dexterity save, I think just hurts me. Like, set it at 1 and leave it. This way you can be like, okay, well, that creature is really strong, but not very agile. All right, well, now I'll use it on it because it's supposed to be agility or supposed to be, dex. But to have them always be able to choose, it hurts me so much.
Like I was saying, I've always felt this one is kind of the weakest. It's like 10 feet away. Like you said, it gets to choose the better of 2 saves. So I always thought what would make this better if it reached a bit further.
Yeah, because if it's 10 feet away, as you mentioned off camera, it's 5 feet away probably.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think, this would give it more uses if you could do it, and you could control the battlefield more if, we increase the range from 10 feet to 30 feet.
So if we extend our Nature's Wrath, out to 30 feet by using your Channel Divinity, which you're already using, and then your hit dice, you can do it at 3 times the range.
Now, do you think it would be too good to extend the range and have the Paladin choose the save?
I think that would work.
I'm torn over that. I like the idea of making that feature a little more powerful so that it gets used more often. But
you could
be like, Ogre, you're never getting out of this unless you roll a 20.
Well, there is the caveat of this thing, at least what's printed in the book. There's no duration on it.
That's true.
That is until they get out.
Now, theme-wise, it would be neat because you could make either like really fast, thin vines if it's going to be like a dex save, or you can make them like really giant, like thick, woody stemmed vines if it's going to be like a strength.
Like it could be like you're hitting them with a spider web of vines, or you could be hitting them with
tree trunks.
Yeah, the ropes.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. It just made it okay that I envisioned you being able to like verbally describe what what the difference would be, I guess.
Well, again, these things aren't play tested. They need play testing for us to check them out and see how they work out. So I would go with the better option and see how it looks.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Man, Dave's siding with the better option. That doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't, but I just feel like the ability is so weak by itself, and no one ever uses it.
And we won't be able to play test that because just the extended distance isn't that cool. It's good, but it's not.
It's not good enough for you, huh?
It's not +5 damage for the next minute, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the truth.
All right, so then we have the Oath of Vengeance. We have the Vow of Enmity. It's already really good. Do we need to really make this better?
And also, this is probably the most popular Paladin at this point.
Oh, because the Vow is so good.
And they don't have to be lawful good either.
No. In fact, you don't usually see lawful good Vengeance Paladins.
That's it. Now I'm going to make one.
Judge Dredd's not lawful good.
No, I put him in lawful neutral.
So with this, we have Lasting Enmity. And basically, it allows you to switch from the person that you probably just smoked to death or down to the ground and move it over to another.
So the real caveat with this one is you have to, when you make your vow, you have to know that you want to expend this additional resource so that you can move it during the duration of your vow. Because if you don't, well, you can't redo your vow. So there's a price to pay, and that's it.
You're basically saying, all you going down, but this guy's first.
That was definitely a good. That is definitely a good way to look at it. Hey, and if you have enough recovery dice, you could really hate 3 guys. My hate is everlasting.
All right, so that's it in a nutshell. I don't know what you guys feel about this one. Feel free to put your thoughts and comments down below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Nerdarchy.com.
Also, patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time, stay nerdy.